relate to that?
Yep.
Yes.
Mama used to tell me, she said, girl, you love too hard. You fall in love too easy. Then I had a boyfriend that told me, you don't have to tell me you love me all the time. I know you do, but you want to hear it from me all the time. And I show you, I don't have to tell you. So he told me, he said, you gotta learn how to love yourself. And I said, how do you love yourself? He said, I don't know, you just do it. That didn't help me. So after that, I set out on a quest to learn how to love. I have got to learn how to love because I've been through so many different experiences. I admit I bumped my head a number of times, many times, thinking I had somebody that knew and understood how to love me. My parents were 16 and 21 years old when they had me. Mom, she was learning how to be a teenager. For the most part, during her, she was learning how to be a teenager, being married and a parent at 16 years old. And I was the firstborn. So she was trying to get her life together and not really sure about, how to live life herself. So, and Dad was 21. And he was gone all the time for days and weeks. And that was for most of the part of their 6 years of marriage. Mom depended on her mother a lot for helping and giving her wisdom to raise the three of us. It was me and two boys, and again, I'm the oldest. So their belief back then was, if they're dry, if you fed them, don't hold them, you'll spoil them. So lay them down and let them holler. So this is what I heard while I was growing up. You was the holleringest child we knew. No matter what we did, no matter who had you, you just hollered. We didn't know what to do with you, so we just laid you down and let you holler. So me, as a baby, I was desiring to be nurtured, and I was desiring affection. So growing up, these are the things that I heard. She's so timid. You gotta walk on eggshells to be around her. She gets her feelings hurt so easy. All of those words hurt. They didn't understand, what they were doing, but those words really hurt. So I was always so timid and crying all the time. So my parents, none of them understood that my love language was physical touch. So people with physical touch, as their love language, feel loved when they receive physical signs of affection. Physical intimacy and touch can be incredibly affirming and serve as a powerful emotional connector for people with this love language. Guess what? The roots go back to our childhood. Some people only felt deep affection and love from their parents when they held, kissed, or touched. Gary Chapman is the one that wrote The Love Languages, and he wrote this book in 1992. I was 30 years old then. I had 2 kids of my own, divorced and remarried. I was vulnerable. I was bullied. I was in wrong relationships, and I was a people pleaser because I was looking for love, and nobody understood. That's what I was looking for, and that's what I needed. So, by a show of hands, how many how many of you have been bullied before? Right, by show of hands. How many will say that they've been a bully?
My sister.
Thank you. I'm writing this down because I'm creating a poll. So I educate people about bullying. So now I want to share my why. Why do I talk about bullying? My son was bullied when he was in sixth grade, the most when he was in sixth grade. That's when he experienced it the most. And I was working, this was his first year, he was in sixth grade. So this was his first year coming home by himself and just staying at home by himself. And so he would call me every day, when he would get home. And when I would answer the phone at work and he would say, Mom, I knew by the way he said, Mom, what kind of day he had. And it was so hurtful to hear, the pain that he had and that he was experiencing. And while he was experiencing bullying, I was experiencing bullying at work as an adult. But I didn't realize that's what it was. I had no idea. So I hear a lot of people say, adults say kids bully, and I'm like, ooh. You need to learn, because no, adults do it too. I've talked to many seniors at senior centers and senior residential homes. They say the same thing, and they bully too. Mm-hmm. So bullying starts as toddlers when they are pushing, kicking, biting, but that's a natural thing, and I'm not going to elaborate on that right now. But I'm just saying that it starts as toddlers and ends with seniors. So while my son was experiencing this bullying, he, like I said, would tell me, what he was experiencing. So when I would get home from work, I would talk to him, go in his room and talk to him and try to encourage him. And I always wanted to be an encourager. When I learned the word, what Barnabas meant as a kid, Barnabas means encourager, and that's what I always wanted to be. But I would come home and I would talk to him and ask him, so what happened today? And so we would have that conversation. And then the next morning, I had been reading the Bible for many years at that point. So what I started doing as a result of his experience is I started studying the Bible. I need to learn these scriptures. I need to find my life experiences in these scriptures. I have got to give my son some help. He had a friend at school who was experiencing bullying by the teachers and by the students too at the same time. So he had enough strength to encourage her, but he couldn't encourage himself. So that was on me. So every morning, like I said, I got up, I started studying the scriptures to find out what can I give him to help him to go through this day. So I would study the scriptures, and by the time they got up, I was feeling pretty encouraged, to give him some hope and help, which, like I said, remember, I was being bullied too. So, but I had to give him more. It was not about me, it was about him for me. So when he would walk out the door to go catch the bus, we would say, remember. We would say, I love you, and remember, pray without ceasing. That was our words to each other. So, like I said, I was being bullied at work too, and didn't realize that's what I was experiencing. So there are many types of bullying. I've learned there are 18 different types of bullying, and I'm going to share with what I just shared with you. The things that I just shared with you, I'm going to share a few of those things. So verbal bullying, and in these 7 definitions that I give you, I'm not going to give you the whole definition. I'm going to give you pieces from what I've shared. So I experienced verbal bullying, talking negatively about someone, teasing, putting others down. Mental bullying, bullying you with insults, mocks you, ignores you. Direct bullying, it occurs between the people involved, usually making insults, offensive and sneering comments. Indirect bullying mostly inflicts harm by damaging another's self-esteem. Overt bullying involves verbal actions, humiliating or ridiculing others, belittling them in front of others. Persistent criticism or sarcasm. covert bully, usually intentionally hidden and hard for others to see, criticizing people's personalities. And then the last one, self-bully, the way you talk to and about yourself. And I was really hard on myself because of the things I was going through. So you treat yourself in hurtful ways and you put yourself down. I want to remind John, Dorothy said this when she was talking. Words have power. Words have power. What are you creating with your words? When we are hurt by something someone says to us, we retort to this idiom. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Lies, lies, lies.
Yes.
Words do hurt,
Yes, they do.
and they are powerful. So we say that to cover up the taunt or the insult. In other words, we pretend it didn't hurt, but it does hurt. Words do hurt. They attack your self-confidence, your spirit, your heart, your self-esteem, etc., etc. What about this idiom? If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. I had a fortune cookie one time, and in that fortune cookie it said, if you don't have nothing to say, nothing nice to say, KMS, keep mouth shut.
Keep mouth shut.
Yes. So I found out what real love is. I found out what it is through searching the scriptures for answers to my life situations.
Yes.
I no longer look for love or seek for love in a human who will only love me based on conditions, because that's what's natural. That's what's natural. I ask you again, by show of hands, have you ever been bullied before? Hands? I'm counting. Okay, thank you. And then, have you ever been a bully?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All right. This is quick. All right, so how do I help? I'm an author. I self-published a book on workplace bullying. Remember, I said that was my experience.
Hold that up so we can see it.
Trouble on the inside, what's going on? So this is talking about physically and spiritually what's going on. It has some of my experiences in it. So this book meant a lot to me. And because I was able to pour out some of what I've experienced in it. So spiritually and physically, what's going on? I had already did this. Oh, I self-published this book. Once I wrote it, I self-published it. This one, a workbook. I did this workbook before I did the book, but I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know how to self-publish it. I didn't have the information I needed. So I made some little booklets and passed them out to people, and they started giving them away, and I'm trying to make a little money. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to stop doing that. So I stopped for a while until I published, went through boot camp and wrote this book and self-published it. And then I went back to this and added a whole lot more. So this book, workbook, an examination is needed, is for those that say I don't bully. I'm like, Jesus was perfect, but none of us are. So let me tell you about the types of bullying so you can change your mind. All right, and so this book, the same boot camp that I went through to write this first book, there's 20, including me, 20 authors that wrote this book. We did this book as a result of George Floyd being killed. And so it was after
What
that,
is that title? I'm sorry.
Speak Up, We Deserve to Be Heard.
Okay.
So this book has poems. I wrote a poem, but there's poems and short stories by these different authors that I just said, 20 different authors. And so that's what this book is about. And so it's still bullying. I'm just connected to share. So then in the encouragement that I said, I study the word. Everybody don't study the word. So, you know, even though I do study the word, there's quotes in here, there's Bible scriptures to help you. But man, I'm feeling low. Woo! Woo! And just pull out one and see what it says. And there's scriptures and quotes, and this one says, never give up.
Yeah. You always need to hear that.
Yeah. So then someone created this for me last night. This, just in case you don't have the barcode scanner, this is to get a list of the different types of bullying. I didn't know how many people were gonna be here, so if you scan this, or you can write on the back of my paper, write your name and email, and then I'll send that list to you. My son and I do a TV show. I'm the host and he's the co-host. And so our conversations are about bullying, different things that happen in life. Right now we're talking about stress. And so with stress, with whatever conversation we're having, we add bullying to it. And because it's always connected to whatever our conversation is. So we just finished our 51st episode.
Nice.
Right.
We have been doing it since. And it really helps both of us because of our bullying experiences. I mean, he's going through a divorce right now, and he was in the marriage for almost 20 years, so he was bullied a lot in that marriage too. So it really helps both of us and encourage both of us. And so we're still healing while we're doing these shows. And so that's huge for us, and we just enjoy doing it. So the name of our show is Where is the Love? So where is the love in all that bullying and being mean and hateful to each other? Also, I just started last Thursday an incubator class as a TV producer. So we're doing different things to get bullying out because it's important for people to know that we all bully and we need to be able to identify it and stop it so that people are not getting hurt. Forgot to tell you, the girl that my son was in the classroom with didn't have any support at home, so she committed suicide.
Oh my God, how old was she?
12.
Oh my God.
So I was like, this is not an option for my child, so that made me get up even more in the mornings to get the word to be able to give him before he left. Go ahead.
That's such a heart-wrenching story. Like, did anybody ever talk to the teacher? Like, did you ever call the teacher and say why? Because you said earlier that the teacher and the students were bullying.
So I went to the school, I talked to that teacher and the principal, and they were both males.
Oh.
So what I was talking about was nothing to them. So that just amped up my prayers. The principal made excuses for the teacher, and the teacher lied and made excuses, for the students too. So we really encourage, now my son and I both encourage, getting mental health, a mental health therapist. I'm almost done with my mental health certification. I have a trauma facilitator certification. So I'm doing all things that I can to help the healing, in the healing process. So even on my logo, y'all can't see it here, I'm gonna put it there, but on the logo it says Love Misunderstood Institute in this puffed heart, and right below it says Broken, Delivered, and Healed. And this is what we're doing for. Because we don't want to see and know that people are getting bullied and nobody's helping them, and everybody won't help. But we have learned to pray for those people and to do what we can. So we really encourage documenting too. That's important. You gotta document, because if you come and say, I have, on this day and this time, this is what happened, and you going before the courts, they'll believe that then, well, I don't really remember, and so that's my story.
Thank you. You all live in
One more thing. I wear black because I felt lonely, hopeless, sad, and not loved. I wear red, see all this red? Because I know I'm not alone, I'm happy, I know I am loved
Yes.
by the Most High. With God's wisdom, I am powerful.
Amen. That's the way to end it.